I am completely surprised with the new Dodge Hornet plug-in hybrid, and it all starts under the hood. Can you believe we have a Dodge built in Italy? Yes, Dodge builds this in Naples, Italy, and actually I live in Naples, Florida, which it's season right now. There are people everywhere. It's impossible to drive this in the empty streets unless I want to drive at nighttime, and it's possible to film this car without spectators, essentially, because this is a place to be, and this is the car I'm actually happy to be in right now this time of year. It's like 65 degrees right now, crisp, beautiful. So let's get into the star of the show here. This is a plug-in hybrid model, but if you don't want electrification, you can get the Dodge Hornet with a 2-liter Hurricane turbo 4-cylinder. I reviewed that earlier this year, I should say late last year, so make sure to check out this review, but this is a powertrain I would be going for. We have a 1.3-liter tiny turbocharged 4-cylinder, made it to a 6-speed automatic that powers the front wheels. Then you have a battery pack in the drivetrain tunnel, where typically the all-wheel drive powertrain would send power to the rear wheels, but you have a battery pack there, 15.5 kilowatt hours. Dodge says that battery pack can provide 32 miles. I saw 35 miles of range here, but it is flat and the weather is obviously about as perfect as possible. Now the battery pack powers a motor in the rear wheels, which is 90 kilowatts, which equates to about 120 horsepower. I'll talk about the driving and how that handles everyday usage here in a little bit, but combined we have 288 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque between this small turbocharged 4-cylinder and that electric motor in the back. When I run out of juice and I'm just in hybrid mode, I'm seeing about 15 kilometers per liter. That's what the car readout tells me, because right, it's a European made car. That equates to over 30 miles per gallon. I want to say it's around 35 miles per gallon, which is just insane for this really high performance plug-in hybrid. So let's get into the exterior design. I mean, the Dodge Hornet is beautiful. I actually like the design of this better than its upscale brother, which is the Alfa Romeo Tonale. Make sure to watch my review on that. It has the exact same powertrain, but this can be had for way less money. I like the hood vents here. I like the Dodge minimal front logo. I think it looks great here in this white. Now this has the track package, and I'm going to get into sunlight on this side so you can see it better. This has a track package which gives you 20-inch wheels. I would skip this, even though they look great. And yes, we have red Brembo brakes, which are awesome as well. And the brakes we'll talk about when I drive it. But I would skip this package, save a little bit of money, and get the powertrain with the smaller wheels, because these large wheels are a bit of a firm ride, and I'd like to have a little bit more cushion from thicker tires. This has the blacked out package, so we have the blacked out Hornet here, blacked out side mirrors, blacked out window surround. As we come around to the back, I love the taillights on the Hornet. We got the blacked out RT logo, blacked out Hornet logo. Let's open up the rear hatch, and tons of cargo space, at least in my opinion, for this small compact crossover. We have a 12 volt in here that is covered up. We also have a little light on each side. Of course, the seats can fold down 60/40. You also have a ski pass through. Underneath is going to be your charger as well as your fix-a-flat kit. I've been charging this at home on my level 2. It's been super convenient, but with a 15.5 kilowatt hour battery pack, you could charge it on a level 1 overnight as well. But with my level 2, it charges up in a few hours. Speaking of charging, it's right here. And this little indicator will tell you what the state of charge is around the charging port. It's pretty neat, and it also has additional lights here to tell you if it's charging, what's going on. So I like that. Materials back here are pretty Dodge, right? Hard touch, pretty simple textured plastic here, but this material on the insert feels awesome, as well as this red stitched armrest, very tiny rear doors. I'm not going to really sit in the back too much of this vehicle because it is mainly set up for kids, but I'll show you, even though it's tiny back here, I can fit. Now this seat is set up for me at 6'1", and I have lots of legroom. The problem is if you get the sunroof on this model, you're going to have less headroom back here. Now, even at 6'1", I'm still not running into the top, so it's quite impressive. Again, we have that suede here on the back of the seat. We have vents back here, USB-C and USB-A, map pockets on each side. So the experience back here has been great. I actually used these earlier this week because I take my kids to school. It's dark in the morning. So I pop these on so the kids can buckle themselves. They play with the armrest all the time, which again, there's the little ski pass through. So the kids absolutely love it. And Dodge has made the world's softest, waiting for that huge truck to go by, but they make the world's softest headrests. And I love these things. These things are absolute pillows. Most headrests are hard as a brick. No, Dodge says, check these out. You're gonna want to sleep in here. Like I said, very surprised with the adult backseat room. That's actually the first time I sat back there. I thought it was gonna be way more cramped because it looks tiny. And it is a small vehicle. This thing's awesome to park. It's super easy to get in and out of parking spots. This one has the top-down 360 camera, which isn't necessary. But we have the Hornet skid plate here. It is metal, like this thing is cold to the touch. We got some aluminum styled foot pedals down there. Materials here are a little bit better than they were in the back seat, but not too much. And in fact, I want to show you something here. We do have memory seats. Haven't used them yet because it's just me driving. We do have folding mirrors. There they go. There it is. Okay, so got some folding mirror action. Now this area right here, I wish it was softer because my knee runs into it and I have to get my leg just right in order for it to be comfy, kind of like right here, but that's kind of unfortunate. I wish this was a little bit softer, but it really juts out into my leg. All right, interior material, soft touch dash. Then you have this more leather-like dash where the stitching looks awesome. I love the vents in here. AC works great. Physical controls for climate control has been awesome. Here's your start stop button, your sport button, 12 volt, USB-C, USB-A. You could get a wireless charger here. I like that it's, you know, it allows you to see your phone at all times, which is awesome. So it can fit big phones. Just keep in mind you have to put it in a certain way because I tried putting it in this way. It won't work. You have to do butt first and then it flops in there. We have this, I believe it's a 10-inch screen right here, and it works really well most of the time. It does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I have heated seat and heated steering wheel, which has been great on these crispy mornings. Now this screen's actually frozen a couple times only on the power flow. I wasn't able to get back into power flow. I could go through the other tabs, but for some reason the screen was locking me out of the power flow, which I'm going to keep on for you guys in today's review. Sound system in here, I don't know who provides it. It's honestly one of the best sound systems I have ever tested or have listened to in a small vehicle. It is unreal, the bass that comes out of this system. There's a subwoofer somewhere in this vehicle. It just sounds so good. It'll shake the car. Nothing really rattles either. I can't say enough about this sound system, and it's been so much fun to blast this. Just keep in mind, I tone down the bass to the lowest setting and drop the treble a little bit because they're just way over boosted from the factory. But yeah, the sound system's fantastic. We also have this really sharp and clear MID behind the steering wheel that is customizable. It took me a while to get used to because let's go ahead and start the car. Well, the car was on technically. The engine was off, so it tricked me. But this button right here, okay, be quiet. Thank you. This button allows you to customize this screen, and there you go. It's just pretty simple. And then you have to press it again if you want to customize the other screen on the other side. And it's not letting me do it right now. Maybe it's because I'm not driving. Maybe I have to be in drive. Okay, now it is. Now it's gonna let me pull it up. So you gotta wait for the car to run through its intro screens. Okay, so long story short, like I said, I was getting 35 miles on a full charge battery, which is more than what the car is telling me. And then I'm getting over 15 kilometers per liter on just hybrid mode. And you cycle through some of the driving modes through right here. E-drive, fully electric. It of course will keep the car in fully electric. I'm out of battery charge, so we're not going to do that. It'll default into hybrid, or you can go into e-save, and you can customize e-save in a couple different ways. You can either have it charge the battery all the way up to about 80%. And when you do that, you will have a little bit less system power because the engine is not only providing charge to the battery, but it's also trying to power the front wheels. So just keep that in mind if you're in e-save and it's in the charging mode of e-save, that your power will be diminished. Now, if you have it in e-save, you can also just keep the battery at a static state of charge, and then it'll just drive like it is in hybrid mode when you are out of charge. Hopefully that made sense. But we'll be in hybrid mode today, and I'll talk a little bit about what it's like to drive in full EV mode when we're doing that. The steering wheel is awesome. I like how it's just the right size. I was in a BMW X1 not that long ago, and that steering wheel was enormous for such a small car. We also have aluminum paddle shifters. These things are enormous. You can tell this is taken straight from an Alfa Romeo with how big they are. It's the same exact shifter. It is awesome. These big elephant ear shifters, easy to row through the Japanese sourced Aishin 6-speed automatic. I love the traditional shifter. You don't always see that in a hybrid, so that's great. You also have this weird place of the volume knob, and then when you're in drive mode, you can't see it at all. You just kind of get used to where it's at. So yeah, it's just in a weird spot. Now you still have volume control here and preset control here, but anyways, I haven't played with these buttons once, but you do have parking assist, and I should show you the 360 camera. It's beeping and because there's parking sensors everywhere, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in drive. It is pretty high quality and I like it, but like I said, in a vehicle this small, you don't really need it. So I'm ready to start driving this amazing plug-in hybrid from Dodge, Stellantis, and Alfa Romeo. All right, putting it into drive, we're actually gonna get the climate control, right? The Florida sun does get heated up pretty quick here in South Florida, even during the winter time. Like I said, the AC has been great in here. The steering feel at low speeds is stupid light. Like, I don't really have to do anything and it does most of the work for me. But once you get up to speed, the steering wheel stiffens up really, really nicely and it's awesome. It handles so well, even though it's a plug-in hybrid. Typically plug-in hybrids are heavy and they can be a bit sluggish in the turns. Nah, we're gonna follow this BMW here as long as we don't, oh, never mind. So many people here this time of year, so you can't really take any turns at speed. Unfortunately, there's so many pedestrians crossing the street. That's just the way it is. It's hard to have fun in cars in town. And that Porsche is having fun going about 50 and a 25, but we're gonna be doing some similar stuff. Oh my gosh, around the turn, feels awesome, not even in sport mode. The engine didn't do much there, and I was pretty heavy into the pedal because it's able to get so much juice. Like I said, 120 horsepower to that rear motor. And when you're driving in fully electric mode, oh my gosh, it's rear wheel drive only. It feels like a sports car. The torque off the line is awesome. It peters out pretty quick because you only have 120 horsepower from it. But in daily usage, that rear motor is more than adequate. And in fact, maybe even a little bit more than adequate, because I'm able to pass people without even cracking into the little turbocharged 4-cylinder. So I love this in hybrid mode and fully, should I say, I love this in electric mode. It is more than enough for everyday driving. And like I said, 35 miles of pure electric range. It has been awesome driving my kids to school. Now, what is it like in hybrid mode? We're gonna press the sport button. I actually haven't done it yet. The transmission immediately downshifted, pedal down. It's quiet and smooth as hell. It eventually gets into the power, but I feel like if you want this transmission to do what you want it to, you use the paddle shifters. And that way you get the engine in the happy rev ranges to produce the most power. That electric motor right there didn't provide the most shove, but like I said, I'm out of plug-in hybrid juice, and it's more peppy and more lively when it has some battery reserves to run on. But yeah, using these paddle shifters is quite satisfying. You only have 6 gears to go through. And then, you know, after a while, it's like, hey, you're not paddle shifting, so we're gonna shift for you. But it's good that you can play with them, and they're really easy to get to. Like I said, they are enormous. The brakes in here, these like, it stops really well. The brake pedal's not always the most consistent. Maybe it's because it's a plug-in hybrid. You know, there's, you know, regenerative brakes going on. Sometimes at low speeds, the braking predictiveness changes. So just keep that in mind. Maybe it's just this particular sample. I don't remember that happening too much on the Alpha, but it's not a big deal. So that's probably why I don't remember it. It's not that big of a deal at all. But most of the time the brakes here are very responsive, linear, and progressive, just as you want them to be in any car. Doesn't have the most bite initially, like let's say the BMW X1 that I drove recently, but it's a little bit more relaxed, I would say here. Safety features in here are excellent. It does have pretty strong steering assist when you leave your lane. It has radar cruise control with stop start. So it's fine. I feel like the lane tracing's also been pretty good. So I would say it's kind of par for course. And that's all I really care about safety features. I'm not a big safety feature person. I love the blind spot monitor in here though. It works great. It'll also give you an auditory chime that I'm sure you can disable if you don't want that while you're turning. So if I have the blinker on, which we'll talk about the blinkers in a little bit, if I have my turn indicator on, I get in the next row lane, but there's someone in my blind spot, the car will not only have the blind spot light on, but it will make a noise. So I know what I'm doing at that point. All right, back to the turn indicators. The stock here is kind of like the Lexus RC or the Lexus IS. It doesn't stay up. So if I press my blinker here, it goes right back down to neutral, and then you have to slap it down the opposite way. Oh, but if you do it too far, then it'll turn on your left blinker. It's really frustrating, and I wish it just would either stay up for right, stay down for left, but instead it is kind of the return to neutral spot that I really don't like I said, in the Lexus sedan and coupes too. But you can get used to it. It's just not my first. Ooh, look at that bike. Is that Triumph? I can't tell. That was gorgeous though. I almost went off the road. The rear windshield wiper, you press down on the stock on the right and it will stay on, and then you have to press it down again to turn it off. And then you press up for the front windshield wipers, which are also automatic. So up will just do it once, and then if I turn the switch, it'll turn it off automatic. But I'm just gonna keep it on automatic. I don't think it's gonna rain today, but I have been caught in rain in this vehicle quite a bit. Okay, I hit a pothole back there, and that's why I would be going for the smaller 18-inch wheels. It's definitely a sporty ride. You have a little bit of vibrations coming through the car, and that's why I'd just be getting a little bit more cushion on my tires, getting the smaller wheels, and just a more pleasant riding experience without giving up too much in performance, in my opinion. It's a very quiet car. Typically when you're in, cars this size, even though this is a Dodge only in branding because we know it's an Alpha, that's probably why it's pretty quiet in here. I don't get a ton of road noise. And I don't get a ton of wind noise. There's no annoying like 8-pillar noise going on. So I feel like it's really well insulated from the external environment. So one of the greatest things about this is that, at least at the time of the recording, these things are on sale. Looking in my area, well, how this one's built anyways, this one's like a $50,000 Alpha. Well, should I say Dodge Hornet. And to me, it's a lot of money for how small this vehicle is, but the performance, it makes up for the performance for sure. And like I said, the sound system is unbelievable, and like just the immense torque is just, there's that, blind spot monitor letting me know. But anyways, getting back, it's on sale. So in my area, I could drive up to Tampa, plop 35, 36K and get the same powertrain, the plug-in hybrid, on this. I think it's the RT, because the GT has just a turbo 4-cylinder. So the RT and the RT Plus are the plug-in hybrids, and you can get incredible deals. I would be happy to snap this up compared to like a RAV4 Prime, which are like unobtainium. Was a RAV4 Prime going to be more reliable? Probably, but it's not more fun to drive than this, and this is easier to park. The Prius Prime plug-in hybrid, they're unobtainium where I live, and there are markups going on in California on it, and this is faster. This is 0 to 60 in 5.5 instead of about 6.5 in the Prius Prime, or maybe about 6, maybe low 6s in the Prius Prime. This is more fun to drive than the Prius Prime. It has way more functional space in here. The new Prius is so small, has really low visibility, and this is just a better everyday car than the Prius. And like I said, after you run out of that plug-in juice, it's still getting 35 miles a gallon. Not quite as good as a Prius, which the Prius Prime will get you like 50 miles per gallon afterwards. But I'm just comparing this to some plug-in hybrids that I've tested recently on the smaller envelope. I'm trying to think, there are just a very few plug-in hybrids in the subcompact segment. And this kind of falls between the Prius Prime as well as the RAV4 Prime, being better than both of them in affordability, availability, and more fun to drive than both of them. And the sound system in here is way better than either of those either. Like I cannot understate that enough, or I'm overstating it, right? I cannot state it enough how good this sound system is once you get your settings just right. This thing's an absolute hoot. I love this powertrain so much, and the efficiency of it. You have not only a fun car to drive in the turns and the corners. Oh my gosh, it's just so good. Where's that Camry going? I'm driving like a hoon here because it allows for that. The engine and the transmission are very, very peppy and wanting to play too. So I can't believe this has been one of my favorite cars I've driven in a long time. There's nothing that drives me crazy about this car. The software, yes, it froze once or twice, but for the most part, it's been very zippy, and it's easy for me to live with. There's nothing frustrating about the software. It handles great, it brakes great, the performance is great, the efficiency is amazing, it drives great in rear-wheel drive electric mode. I can't say enough about the Hornet because it's a bargain Alfa Romeo, made in Italy. And well, they're speaking of made in Italy, I'm looking at some supercars over there. But that's just where I live. That's, you know, the benefits of living in beautiful South Florida. And I think this vehicle would be perfect for you regardless of where you live, because if you don't you know, have great roads where you live, you have all-wheel drive traction all the time with this e-axle in the back. So anyways, I got to shut it down. I'm surprised how I actually was not looking forward to driving the Hornet, because I drove the 2-liter model and it was fun. I just thought it was kind of expensive for what it was. But after driving this, if you can get it for under $40,000 in the plug-in hybrid, absolute home run. Ticks all my boxes for an everyday commuter and small family get-around vehicle. So Dodge, thanks to you for sending this. And like I said, I wasn't excited for this because I just reviewed one recently, and I've also reviewed the Alpha, but I like this vehicle a lot. I'll see you guys in the comments below. I'll see what you have to say about this Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.